Good afternoon, Lions Club.
Good afternoon.
How's everybody doing today?
Wonderful.
Good. Oh!
Yeah, Larry.
Well, let's get going with some happy dollars. We want to start off with something, though. Let's have a little bit of fun today. Well, it's not going to be so fun because you guys are probably going to have to give up some money. But the first reminder is we're almost at the end of January, and your Lions Club dues. Have you paid yet? Who's paid yet? Who's raised their hands up? Okay, good. We got some payers today. Very good. Let's get going with happy dollars. Let's start with Happy Dolly.
President Ken, fellow Lions guests, just a happy dolly to be here. And yes, don't forget your dues.
Lion Doug.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, happy dollars. Let's go down to the Zone 2 meeting tonight. Also going to recognize and award the winner of the membership for Maui contest, who's going to be there tonight. So Dolly and I are going down there for that.
Thank you, Doug. Maybe we should go that way. I see money over there. I smell money. I see lots of money. Zone Chair Marilyn.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, there's a happy dollar because I have a dollar in my wallet. You know I'm not working.
Oh, you're working. We're following you. Lion Gray.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, last week I was befuddled because George Morrow was the ugliest one in the room because Jim Reineke wasn't here. Well, past District Governor Jim Reineke is here today, so he is the ugliest.
You gonna take that sitting down, Jim? I don't think he's gonna take it down. Take it sitting down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jim Reineke.
Presiding Officer Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I will not respond to such negative thinking, but I would like to explain why I wasn't here last week. The club can be proud. I made a significant contribution to the Indian tribe down on the coast. That's $1, and the other dollar is because very soon, this month, I will become 2 years older than dirt.
Very good.
How old Kurt? George Moore's age. Wiser, too. Wiser. That's too bad.
Lion Lloyd.
Okay. Okay, Lions, fellow Lions and guests. I have a happy dollar here. Many of you know that my grandson's been coaching at the University of Washington while he got his master's degree. Yay! Well, according to rules, once he gets his master's degree, he has to move on. Well, this kid, he made it gold, I guess. He's got a Division I job for Sacramento State as a receiver coach. My second dollar, I'm not sure what it's a questionable dollar. Last week we were unable to attend the meeting, but I did watch your video, and you kept panning on one of the guys here in the crowd, and that was the lesser over here. And great, that haircut stood up like you wouldn't believe. That buzz cut. Now I talked to your brother today, and I asked him what the deal was, but he said he didn't think the Marine recruiters are going to be coming anytime soon.
That's not really a haircut, it's more of a cry for help. Lion Phil Olson.
And we all know that the cry went unanswered. President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, 2 happy dollars. Both of them have to do with grandkids or great-grandkids. The Evergreen State College Gooey Ducks were just 1 day late interviewing Lloyd's grandson.
So he ended up going to Sacramento State. It's our loss. We're sorry, Lonnie. Second is my great-granddaughter, my younger great-granddaughter is turning 1 this week. There will be a small party of millions. My wife and the rest of the troop is starting to decorate Saturday afternoon for a Sunday party, and the 1-year-old is probably not going to care.
It'll be covered in cake anyway. Lead vocalist David.
Okay, sing.
No, we're not gonna sing. Anyway, honored President Ken Vitero, honored guests, honored fellow Lions and honored guests. I'm going to give this because I feel all right with it. I'm happy because I'm a Christian. I'm happy because I'm here. I'm happy because I'm among very colorful and happy people. I'm going to have some fun with that one, and let's just say I'm happy about everything that happens, and if there's anybody troubled, I give them my best for them to know where to go to as far as what they need to do. It's going to give it to God, and I'm going to end it with that. Thank you.
Amen, brother.
Right here.
Steve.
Hello.
Dwayne.
Lion Dwayne.
He already paid.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I'm happy that my brother is retired and was able to join our club and attends almost all the meetings.
Yeah.
Gloria Lee.
Oh, she's back in big money.
Ooh. I like it. We don't get change.
I can ask for Good morning, President Ken, fellow Lions, and guests.
It's afternoon.
Is it? It's 12? Well, good morning anyway. I am very thankful for today and to be a part of this great group. And Greg, I think you are very handsome with that new haircut.
Well, she did pay the most, so it's minority rule. Okay.
Use his glasses.
Lots of happy dollars.
Well, let's skim back through the front a little bit. Hey, Darla, I have an idea for some fun and some money gathering since we don't have enough.
Yeah.
Everybody should have one of these today with them.
Yeah!
Yeah! That's your Lions Club membership card. Hey, I'd like to see everybody's today. If you don't have one, just insert a quarter in its place.
Well, look at that.
Hey!
And for those that don't, I've turned around.
What a mess!
And just a friendly reminder, you can get another one of these right now for only $90.
Hey, she's got a coupon.
Coupons don't count.
Awesome. You guys are on it. David, you got your card with you? You got your card with you? Your identification card, your Lions Club? We'll get back to you. You already put some money in today.
Hello.
Everybody good?
There we go.
Hey, this one says I'm only good standing till 1:20, 2 days ago.
Oh, this guy's got expired tabs right here.
I guess. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's there or not. We're getting some money now.
This is fun to see everyone working so hard, man. These guys don't want, nobody wants to spend a quarter today.
Steve, hurry up here and get this before she pays it.
All right.
That's why you don't get the cards right out.
I know Walt has his, but I think he wants to share a happy moment with us too. I think that means he buys breakfast at the next meeting over at Walt, you got a happy dollar for us? Wow, I think we cleaned house with that one. Nobody was expecting fines for me. I'm too nice. Okay, good job, guys. Everybody paid up or showed their card. I caught you off guard with that one, I know.
Steve, while Darla's up here, you're checking Lions Club cards. I would like you to put an extra $1 in the pot because you looked at Walt's Elks card. Yeah. Well.
President Foss, fellow Lions and guests, I'll throw in $1 there as a fine because I looked at the wrong part. Apparently, I'm going to take his word. His vision's as good as mine. But also, I don't know if you guys heard this, but yesterday they say is officially the saddest day of the year. They figure that by the 21st, on a Monday, everyone's waking up and you've gotten over the holidays and now the bills come due, but I don't detect any unhappiness around here. I see nothing but happiness. So thanks for everybody's participation today, and I think that was a false story, but I read it. Lion Leroy.
Leroy. President Ken Cowlitz, the guest. Let's start off with, I was at a meeting earlier today with Lion Mark Couch, and he wasn't able to get away, and I left. He's asked me to give a sad $1 that he wasn't going to be able to make it today. So that's from Lion Mark Couch. Kind of I don't know if this is sad relief or whatever. If anybody sees me on Facebook, you probably saw on Friday I was sporting a patch on my left eye. So the patch is off. Unfortunately, we don't know what the problem is, and they took a biopsy and part of my eyelid is off and hurts. But so that's whatever that is. Happy, sad, it just broke. So anyway, there we are.
Made me happier. Anyone else got a happy $1 they wanted to share before we turn it over to El Presidente? President Ken.
Fellow Lions and guests, I have a happy $1 and a comment. The happy $1, I guess, is an advertising $1. If any of you have grandchildren that need to have a nice car to travel all over the world, stop and see Steve. He'll fix you right up. We have a granddaughter that's driving a little red car. She's never home. We don't know where she's gone with it, but she's having a good time.
We're going to let that advertising $1 pass.
Of course you would. Did you check the shop? All meetings in order. Invocation by Lion Hall Inspect.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the wonderful blessings that you continually bestow upon us. Thank you for taking the ice and the snow and the sleet someplace else and leaving us free and with the great sunshine here in Cowlitz County. Please bless this food to our bodies, bless us in your service, and we'll give you the praise. Amen.
Amen. Our pledge by Lion Louis Pickett.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our song by the ex-member of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Bill Olson.
I come
Street is early, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrims ride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
That sounded like happy
I
birthday.
would like to remind everybody that our national anthem is something sing of praise and excitement, not a funeral march. With that, Bob Jessen, introduction of our guests.
President Ken, fellow members, we have a couple guests this morning, and our secretary, Dolly Harvey, would you introduce your guests for us, please?
Treasurer, that's okay. President Ken Lyons, a guest, our good friend Doug Osterdahl.
And now, Mr. Secretary, got mixed up, sorry about that. Phil Olson.
President Ken, fellow Lyons and guests, please welcome Tom Riccio.
That it? Great. Now we have a little business we have to take care of before we move on to our meeting. During some of our activities, we have things come up that are unavoidable and really something's had to see happen within our club. We do have a member of our club who has done outstanding things, have really done a great service to this club. And with what's taking place in his life, he has sent me a letter. To whom it may concern, I have recently been asked to take on more responsibility at my place of work. This leaves me with a lot less spare time in my day-to-day. Therefore, unfortunately, I am unable to commit the amount of time I feel it would be necessary to commit to perform the duties and obligations of the second vice president. I have and I appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow with the Lions. But at this time, I hope that the club, the executive board, and the club president will accept my resignation as second vice president of the Pioneer Lions. I would like to be considered for a position on the executive board in the future if at such time my services are needed and my schedule permits. Andy Portray has tendered his resignation. We have taken it to the board. We have all approved and accepted Andy's resignation. At this time, I would like for the membership, by a show of hands, to recommend to accept his resignation also. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce our chairman of the past presidents to conclude some more business. Cindy Fickett, Limpy.
As of tomorrow, I don't need wheels, so I just went a day early without my wheels. My foot is doing great, as you can see. Back to business. I'm chairman of the past presidents, so we got together last week to see who we could place into third vice president, and we elected, we elected, and then you get to vote on Tom Fulton as our third vice president. Tom? So Tom will be taking third vice president, and Darlene, I got your name. Darlene will be taking second vice president. So do I have a motion on the floor? Second. Okay, all those that approve, say aye. Aye. Tom, could you come up, please, now that you've been duly voted in? I get to pin him. Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you all very much. Tom does an outstanding job working with the concessions and things with the club. And we look forward to his guidance and direction on your executive board. Little does he know what he's getting into, but we will make sure that he knows shortly
Thank you all very much. Now also we have a letter from the Salvation Army. It says, I'm writing to express our sincere gratitude for your generous contribution to the Salvation Army. Your gift of $250 to the Salvation Army Longview Temple Corps will be used to help those in need right here in our community. The Salvation Army Temple Corps is working hard to offer essential services to those in most need, providing food, shelter, clothing, counseling programs for youth, and much more. We could not continue this important work without the support of generous friends like you. Thank you for joining us to fight for good and to make a difference in the lives of others. We value your generosity and loyal support. Sincerely, Sarah Bakinski? Sarah, somebody say it. Bakinski. B-E-K-S-I-N-S-K-I. Botero. Right. That was right on top. We also would like to thank Paul Spears for all of his efforts and everything he does for the Salvation Army experience. Also, Ron Stoffler, but Ron's not here. Anyhow, thank you very much. Time for committee reports. First on the list, Zone Chairman, Marilyn. I should say Zone Chair, Marilyn Patterson.
I've got a couple of things we can say about her.
I think they train us to be zone chair person. Is that right? I'm just a person. President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I just want to announce that this Thursday is the second zone meeting. Council Rock is holding that, and it is at 6:30 at St. Paul's Lutheran Church instead of their normal location. I have the address here. Today is the last day for sign-up, so if you have not signed up and want to attend, I need to turn in the count for attendance. I'm kind of speaking over Cindy since she's the visitation chair. I didn't mean to take your thing. So, and then as long as I'm standing, just a reminder, the education meeting is going to meet just after this lunch. We'll meet back here where it's dark.
Visitations.
One more thing.
Cindy Pickett. Oh, she's still talking?
I forgot.
That's what Steve said, but
This is just something I wanted to do on myself. It's in our zone, you know, Kalama is one of our clubs in the zone, and last week I mentioned Helen Hutchinson passed away, a longtime member of the Kalama Lions. She also was president. So her service is this Saturday from 1 to 5 at Kalama Church of the Nazarene. And so if you want to attend, I have information here.
thank you. Visitations, past President Cindy Pickett. You can do your other one too if you want.
Yeah, Marilyn pretty much covered that there's visitation on Thursday, is our zone meeting. And, the Valentine party, there's kind of been a little hiccup on there. I'm not sure that it's going to be here. There's another scheduling
Conflict.
Thank you. And so I need to have a committee meet afterwards so we can see what alternatives we can do. So it's kind of up in the air, but we'll get back to you next week on all the particulars. Thank you.
Where's that meeting going to be? Back there? And do we have any other visitations other than one this Thursday coming up?
Not yet.
Thank you. Sunshine Committee report, Gail.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, Jim Waters ended up with pneumonia over the weekend.
Now, any of you had the experience to visit Walmart out on 30th or 38th this past week? I know 2 or 3 of you that were there. We would like to have Bob Jessen give us a report on this new fantastic kettle corn program that we've got with our new machine and our new flavors and beautiful windy weather on Friday and fantastic weather on Saturday.
Mr. President, fellow members and guests, Friday and Saturday we were at Walmart from first day we were there from 1 to 3. We bagged it an hour early because it was just nasty. The wind was blowing, it was cold, wet. They had a shoplifter, 3 cop cars come zooming in with lights flashing. It was quite the afternoon.
Is that why you left?
So Saturday was a lot more cooperative. It was dry and things went really well. We had $431 for the 2 days of sales, 25 bags of regular kettle corn, and 51 bags of flavored corn. And with that said, we are going to take it back over to the Expo Center, not the machine, but we're going to make it Friday at the shop, and then we're going to take it over to Sasquatch over at the Expo Center Saturday. So we do have a sign-up sheet on the table. We need a couple people to just do nothing but take money and hand out the kettle corn. Not too complicated. We got 3-hour shifts, but it does run kind of late, so we need several people to help staff it. So please sign up. Thank you.
Great, it's a new program that this new kettle corn machine just really takes the place of a lot of sweat and tears. Tears coming from corn popping and hitting people. With that, we continue on. We'd like to introduce our, I don't know whether he's the big shot or the little shot of the club. Steve Patterson, who is our chairman for our speakers this month. All yours, Steve. You want a chair to stand on?
Have a seat, Mr. President. Our guest speaker today is new to the area. I first met Joseph as he was being sworn in as a Kelso Lion. You'll notice that he has a lion's vest on. And last November, as part of a visitation by Zone Chair Marilyn and myself, we met Joseph, and we found out he was the curator or director of Cowlitz County Historical Museum. The gentleman has a tremendous resume full of BSs and MAs and MBAs in anthropology and museum studies. I noticed on his resume that he was living in Olympia, but he was commuting to the center for the Waterway Seaport Museum in downtown Tacoma, which means he was commuting every morning from Olympia to downtown Tacoma. So hence one of the real reasons that he's here now in quiet Cowlitz County. He will explain. He replaced David Fries, who actually had been the director there for over 30-some years. He's married to his wife, Erin, and they have a daughter, Nora. So if you would please give a warm Lions welcome to Joseph Govednik.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for allowing me to talk to you all today here and inviting me for lunch and seeing fellow Lions members. I'm, as Steve mentioned, I'm new to the club here, and I'm also new to the area. I've been here for, I'm going to take this thing off.
There you go.
Steve was there. I've been here for about a year and a half. And my predecessor, David Fries, had been in my position for 31 years, and so I keep getting introduced as the new director of the museum. This is the new director. And David said, get used to that because I was a new director for 5 years. So I'll have to get used to it for another 3.5 years. And we're just waiting for the technology to catch up here. But yes, I did come down here from Olympia. My wife and I got married about 6 years ago, and actually 5.5 years ago. And I lived in Tacoma, but then moved to Olympia, where her family is oriented, and got to enjoy the commute back and forth. And there is a lot less traffic here, and there's a lot less people here, and there's just a little bit of a slower pace of life, which we really enjoy in this community. And we're still waiting to load out here. So yeah, I have a little bit of BS in me, I suppose, and a few other things. But I've always been interested in history. In fact, one reason why there's all these BSs and MBAs and all that is that my dad said, whatever you do, don't be a history major. There's no jobs there. And so I said, okay, I won't be a history major. And then I went to anthropology, which was about worth as much. And then through a course of growing up and deciding what I wanted to do, and attention deficit disorder, I found my way through to the museum world, where I could enjoy history without necessarily my history background or history degree. So we'll just go ahead and launch into the presentation here, because I was told that I have to be done here, I think, within 5 minutes before the hour, so you guys can escape. Is that true? And if I talk too long, the hook comes out, right? And then it pulls me away. And I'll try to have a little bit of time for questions and answers too, if you guys like. So this PowerPoint will talk just a little bit about who I am, because I am still new to the community, and we'll just go here. So here is me, and this is my wife Erin, my daughter Nora. She's 4 years old now, so these pictures, she's about 2 in this. And I do have a background in museums. I taught anthropology classes and sociology classes at the community college level down in California, where I came from. And then I was formerly, before I came here, the museum curator at the Foss Waterway Seaport in Tacoma, which has a maritime museum. And here are some past affiliations. I was involved with the Department of Ornithology and Mammalogy at the California Academy of Sciences in Golden Gate Park, the C.E. Smith Museum of Anthropology at California State University, Hayward, Lindsay Wildlife Museum right here, the National Japanese American Historical Society in San Francisco, and then most recently the Foss Waterway Seaport up in Tacoma, on Tacoma's waterfront. Oh yes, and these are the last victims that are, and don't look in the trunk of my car. So here's the Foss Waterway Seaport, a vintage wheat warehouse on the waterfront. There's also grain exportation down here in Kalama, I noticed as well. So we see the same types of bulk carrying freighters up in Puget Sound as are down here along the Columbia. The seaport also has about 1,200 feet of linear dock and a heritage boat shop operated by volunteers, marine science education programs, and I was in charge of the museum component, which involved the maritime collections. But then I saw a great opportunity down here and applied for a position with the Cowlitz County Historical Museum, and was fortunate enough to take the place of David Freese, who had done fantastic things with this museum. He saw the museum go through a massive upgrade as far as the facilities. They expanded the facilities by almost double in 2003, investing about $1.2 million into the building. And then most recently, just months before I was hired, the permanent exhibits were redone, and that was about a $230,000 project, and that was concluded just over 2 years ago. So I thank David for taking very good care of the organization, and also for the board of directors for their leadership in maintaining a very, not just physically, but fiscally healthy place to come into. So if you don't know, we are a county museum, but we are a public and private partnership. We are a department within Cowlitz County, but we partner with the Cowlitz County Historical Society, which is the nonprofit organization that can do the fundraising, that owns the exhibits and owns the artifacts. The county owns the building, and the county also owns me. We're located at 405 Allen Street and have been there since 1979. And as I mentioned, the facility expansion in 2003, which this part of the building is part of that expansion, and the permanent exhibit installation was completed in 2016. We have about 380 members in our historic society. We're always looking for more members, and so if you're interested, please come and talk to me after this gathering, and I'd be happy to give you some more information. The Cowlitz Encounters exhibit, has anybody here been to the museum in the last 2 years? We get people that come in and they say, I haven't been here since I was a child, or I drive by here all the time and I haven't been here in 12 years. Come on by and take a look at it, because we have professionally installed exhibits, professionally designed. This is not a grandpa's attic collection of oddities and artifacts with amateur labeling. This is a really nicely done exhibit, and it rivals anything that you might find in a larger city, yet we have it here in our county. And this is something that, as a community, you can take a lot of pride in, that when people visit the museum, they usually walk away saying, I've been to many county museums and I've never seen one as nice as this. So please come by and visit us sometime. We have received an Award of Excellence from the Washington Museum Association, and also the American Association of State and Local History, an award for excellence. So we've been regionally and nationally recognized for this exhibit. And again, I give thanks to David and the board of directors and their guidance towards this exhibit. It took 5 years of development and fundraising to get this together. Here's one of the murals when you enter the exhibit in a canoe right here. And so we really elevated that level of storytelling by enhancing the exhibits. The exhibits that were in there prior, the previous permanent exhibition was installed in 1989 for the state centennial, and then it had a few modifications through the years, and it was just beginning to show its age. So several years ago, the board of directors decided, let's go forward, let's do a capital campaign and put in a new exhibit. So what am I going to do here? Because I walked in and said to David, gosh, what do I do? You have these nice exhibits, you have a nice building. And he said, oh, there's a lot to do still. And so a few of the things I'd like to do is promote the museum as part of an overall attraction of Cowlitz County, so that when people come to visit, we would be part of that tourism activity that people can do. Just like there are assets like Lake Sacagawea Park, there are things like the Interpretive Center at the Port of Kalama, which has also really nicely done exhibits. If anybody been down to the Port of Kalama? You might not think about it, but they have an awesome Interpretive Center there too, and it's also free to get into, as we are free to get in, free admission. And then I want to look at our audience and look at our geographic and demographic audience. We have, like many museums, collections, collection storage concerns, which usually revolve around space, because we've all had issues in our own homes as far as you look in the garage and you have all these boxes and things stored in there, and then you have, $20,000, $30,000 worth of car parked out in the driveway getting beaten on by the weather, and you have all your garbage in the garage. Well, we don't have garbage in the museum. We have a lot of nice things there, but they still pile up, they accumulate over time, and we need to find a larger storage facility ultimately. And so we need to do some fundraising and development and bring in some rotating exhibits too into our temporary exhibit gallery. I want to connect the museum with the public, with other organizations, so that there's an awareness about our existence, because again, people tend to drive by on Allen Street and say, oh, there's the museum. But we want people to come into the museum and see these incredible exhibits. One thing I'm really proud of is in the last year, we started an organization called the Heritage Association of the Lower Columbia. And I modeled it after an organization I was involved up in Pierce County, the Heritage League of Pierce County. And so now all the different heritage organizations in this area are now communicating with each other. We meet about quarterly. So the Stella Historical Society, for example, the Children's Museum, the other heritage organizations and museums, we can all talk about what we're doing with our schedule, issues that pertain to us, and put our heads together to find solutions. Whereas before we weren't necessarily talking to each other, and so you'd see sometimes on one weekend multiple organizations have the same, not necessarily the same event, but they have an event going on at the same time, and it thins the audience. And this is to help elevate our professionalism, to talk about ways we can do exhibits, collections care, fundraising, and volunteer recruitment. Many of the smaller historical organizations in this county are volunteer run by people who are passionate about history but don't necessarily have a background in how to best care for their collections or how to properly display objects. So this is where we can get together to come to solutions. Here's some examples of members of Rider with History Project. We've got members of the representing the Cowlitz tribe, Port of Kalama Interpreter Center, Stella Children's Discovery Museum, Woodland History Museum, the Genealogical Society of the Lower Columbia. So we try to connect with all these different groups, and we've created a trifold that each organization has, so somebody can visit any one of these and then they receive information about all of us. So it's that rising tide that raises all vessels in the harbor. Programming, we have our first Thursday program, which is usually a speaker that talks about local history that comes in. Sometimes we've shown movies. We actually showed a movie last year and we had almost standing room only. We completely filled the house. It was the film God's Country and the Woman. Anybody heard of that movie? 1937, shot right around here, and that was a really successful program. We have the Bush Cabin over at the fairgrounds, so when you go to the Cowlitz County Fair, we have a way to engage people off-site of the museum. In fact, there was some talk about Squatch Fest earlier. We will be at Squatch Fest and we'll have a storyteller telling historical folklore or maybe fact if you're a true believer in Sasquatch. And so come by Squatch Fest. We have a schedule that is on all the flyers that they have that will let you know when to come into the cabin and listen to some interesting stories told by a professional storyteller. And then our educational traveling trunk program goes to local schools, and we actually have been very successful with that in the last year. We increased visiting the schools by about 34%. Now that this capital project is underway, we can now focus more on the programming side that ties into the exhibits. Our traveling trunk program brings education to a school classroom because it's difficult sometimes to afford the funding for busing to bring the children to the museum. So we will go to the children in the schools, and it's a very popular program with instructors here, and our education coordinator, Danielle, does a fantastic job connecting with the children, and she gets rave reviews from both instructors and children. Some programming that I'm excited about that we participated in last year is a cemetery tour, which you have living historians dress up in period attire, and they stand at the gravesite of historically significant and less significant people. In this case, we partnered with the Stella Historical Society and the Bunker Hill Cemetery Association, and we provided some volunteers, and our curator was one of the reenactors, and participated in this project. That this is also what kind of comes out of that communication with the Heritage Association of the Lower Columbia is we find out common interests and we say, hey, let's partner with these different groups on a program, and all the organizations benefit and the community benefits. The Bunker Hill Cemetery tour was a huge success. I'm a veteran of the Tacoma Cemetery tour, and I do the reenactment there. And the numbers that we had here in Cowlitz County with a population of a little over 100,000 people were the same as the numbers that you have up in Tacoma, which has a population of 200,000 in just the city proper of Tacoma. And the region is, probably 500,000. So I was excited to see that huge success with that program. They had the same amount of people attend. And again, the audience development, I want us to think about who's the demographic coming into the museum and who can we serve, who's the demographic of our community, and better ways that we can serve them. I want us to also make sure that we reach out to the entire county, because there are many unincorporated areas here. There are only about 5 incorporated cities in the county, so there's history all around the place. And especially, I think an example is when you think of a community like Stella that you drive by on Ocean Beach Highway, you don't see a whole lot there, but there was major logging operations going on out in Stella, and a lot of lumber was shipped out through Stella. And you wouldn't think so now, because it's different now than it was then. And then here's a pet project I really want us to work on, is a collection storage. This is an ideal museum collection storage facility here, where you have these compactable storage units, and some libraries have them too, and they save a lot of room. We don't have that, and so we have a lot of corridors between the shelves that we could eliminate that space by having these, you just twirl these wheels here, and then they'll spin back and forth. So we also have some off-site storage that we like to consolidate into one storage facility. And then here's my plea to you is, do you have anything that you found in your attic that is relevant to the story of Cowlitz County or the Lower Columbia region? Because we have people come in with all kinds of amazing things, and we can't take everything sometimes because it's difficult for us to properly care for it, or it doesn't fit with our mission. If you walk in here with an old typewriter, if there's no story with it, it's an old typewriter. But if it's an old typewriter and it was used, say, at the Daily News back in the 1950s or 60s, then you have a story that can connect to it. And so you take any kind of an object or artifact, and once you can tie a story into it, then you really can make that connection. And we have people that walk into the museum and they'll look at objects on display and they'll say, oh, my great-grandfather has one of those, or had one of those, and we have one just like that at our house. So it's nice to make those connections. We're also available for object identification. We have people that come in with items that they have no clue what they found, and they bring them in. We just had a gentleman come in, and he gave us some items that we believe may be, their origin may be from Mexico and very, very old, possibly pre-Columbian. So we're looking at finding a proper institution that would be appropriate to house those items. And then we have image archives, over 1 million images in our archives. So we have people that come in all the time to look through to find images. And we have rotating and loaned exhibits. We currently have a World War I Centennial exhibit up that was actually installed during the last year of the Centennial for World War I. It's still up now, but we're looking to find a replacement exhibit that will go into that space. So if you have an interest in World War I history, please come by the museum sooner than later before we take this exhibit down. And we also would like to offer objects or images to local museums, libraries, city halls, other public spaces, so that we can help enrich the environment for people who are part of this county. And here's the American Association of State and Local History has what's called the STEPS program, Standards and Excellence Program for History Organizations. It's a self-assessment, and it takes sometimes years to go through it. And so this is something that we haven't taken on yet, but it's on my list of things to do, is to do a full assessment of our museum, our practices, our policies, our procedures, and go from there. And then, of course, I have to put in a little plug here for our gift shop. If you're looking for anything unique as a gift, especially for visitors from out of town, our gift shop will have books by local authors or books on topics that are of local history that you're just not going to find anywhere else. So please come by and take a look at our gift shop. We've got all kinds of neat little goodies in there. And then, of course, if you're ever in a hurry and you're looking for something special for somebody during the holidays, don't necessarily run to a big box store. Just come over to us. We can definitely take care of that need. And so we are, like I said, a county museum. So what do you guys want to do with us? Let me know. If you have any ideas, I've got lots of business cards with me, and I want to know what your ideas are regarding exhibits, public programming, educational programs. So we're always looking to find new ideas. We're here to serve you. And I just want to thank you all very much on behalf of the Cowlitz County Historical Museum and Cowlitz County Historical Society. Thank you.
Well done, Joseph. Normally we would give an application to join our club, but since you're already a Lion, the only thing we can do is recommend that you transfer to our club. However, we're presenting you for speaking with us today a mug for the beverage of your choice, and we do again appreciate you coming here. Attaboy, attaboy. So, well done.
Joe, thank you for coming in and sharing that information at the Historical Center with us. Some of the things that you're new to the community we would like also to point out, we just celebrated our 95th anniversary. There's the Longview Pioneer Lions Club.
That was the club, George, not me.
The first chartered member just spoke. We're very proud. You know, you can't talk about the history of Longview without mentioning the Lions. The Lions really put things together. They were chartered the same year in November that the city was chartered. And the Lions and all their members were very instrumental in putting the K&M Mountain Roadway in. So there's a lot of history that deals with our club and the history of Cowlitz County. So, and I'm sure that you have it in your annals over there about some of the things that have taken place. If not, look it up. We had a terrific celebration for 95 years and we're looking forward to 100 years. So we appreciate all you're doing, and the library or the museum is fantastic. It needs to be a lot better though. To take all that junk that's over Steve's house and bring it down to your place. Right, Marilyn?
I don't have an attic.
With that, thank you very much. Next week, we have our awards meeting. That's the last meeting, 29th. I had to stop thinking of the date, 29th of January. So we'll have our awards meeting next week. And with that, if we had some tickets. Tickets. First of all, the most important part of the day, food.
Food.
Dessert. Judy. Bob, that especially for you. Judy does not have to bake tonight as you get dinner. The blue ticket for $211.
Okay.
23381. 3 7. Oh, how about Bruce? Bruce shows up for one meeting and gets a jackpot. Nice going, Bruce. Lucky red ticket. 656754.
Not here.
Marnie. You want the money to take it home? Relay for Life, thank you. With that, don't forget, we have a education meeting over here somewhere, and we also have the Valentine's party meeting somewhere over there also. Also, Mr. Secretary, I forgot last week, so this week, senility.
Yes, Mr. President, sir. First of all, in case any of you wanted to know how come we were done with Happy Dollars so quickly, there is nobody named Folder here today. We come with some melody, and we have past President Shell Post. And it seems like every week we have an argument between married couples about who is supposed to sign in. This week the argument is between Louie and Cindy Pickett.
Cindy the Foot Pickett.
Cindy the Foot.
With that, Bob, what's over there?
Kettle corn sign-up sheet.
Oh, kettle corn sign-up sheets. You guys need to do this because they're gonna have some weird looking popcorn or kettle corn over there for Sasquatch Festival. So sign up for Sasquatch Festival, go for the Education Committee meeting and the Valentine Party meeting. With that, meeting adjourned.